higher we climb, the better work that we do, we have more opportunities to present to exec teams. So talk to the VP, SVPs about ideas that we want to pitch, things that we can do, present our findings. And a lot of us have this bitter memory, though, of that opportunity being taken away from us, because when we start to present, they look bored. They are on their phone, they're flipping through the presentation saying, hey, can we move actually to page 25 here? This graph seems kind of interesting. Or they might just come straight out and say, let me stop you right there. What are we trying to say here? What's the key takeaway? And if you have had this experience, you know that then those opportunities don't usually come back, and you're flustered in the moment. You don't know why they're not understanding why you're talking about all this. And there are a few frameworks here to be able to organize our thoughts so that we speak with executives in the language that they're looking for. Execs are fast thinkers. They are quick at grasping new ideas. They are impatient, and usually they are pretty direct. So in order to speak their language, there are 4 things you have to keep in mind. The first one is know why you're there. A meeting with execs doesn't include everyone. So if you're there, there's a reason, right? Maybe it's your insights, your experience, your recent role in a project. Whatever it is that you have, you need to make sure you know it so that you can contribute meaningfully. Look at the list of attendees and figure out what is it that only you can talk about. What's the insight that they don't know but want access to? What is it that you know that they don't? What are some of the experience and maybe the questions that you can ask that others might not even be aware of? And if you don't know why you're invited, just ask. Whoever added you, just let them know, hey, I want to be prepared for this meeting. What's the goal of the meeting? What is it that I can contribute on my part? A lot of us make the mistake of, okay, they invited me, I'm going to be there, but since obviously I don't know as much as they do, I should sit there and listen. Of course, gathering that information, getting the context is important, but at one point you have to contribute, because the mistake I see, especially for those who feel like, oh, there's 5 levels between me and the highest ranking person here. I don't know anything. Who am I to contribute? So let me just sit in the corner and take notes. If you choose that, then it's automatic elimination. No one wants to waste your time in meetings. We all have more than enough meetings to attend. So if you don't think there's something for you to contribute, you also won't be invited back. You don't want to say just anything, and that's why it's important to figure out why you're included. What kind of perspectives do you have, insights you have that you can contribute? Sure, it feels scary to speak up in a high-stakes situation like that, but think about the worst-case scenario. You said something, and let's say you bombed, right? It completely missed the mark. So now you see the gap between where it is that you're operating versus what everyone else is thinking about at the higher level. That will improve how you do your job. When you go back to your daily operations, you now know, okay, I used to think that the goal was here, but it is somewhere further. It is somewhere slightly different. So by changing how you do your daily work, it will improve what you do, how you do it. The worst thing that could happen to you is you get better at your job. I think that's not that bad. And let's move on to the second thing, which is use what, why, and so what when you share your ideas. Executives have access to something that you don't, which is more insider information, more knowledge, more experience about a situation. And they have specific questions in their mind that they want to answer. To answer those questions, they are not interested in what you think. They're interested in the what, the why, and the so what. For example, let's say your company has rolled out a AI chatbot pilot, and the question being discussed in the meeting is, should we commit to this and roll it out for more features? Now, there are 2 extremes you don't want to do. The first one is say, okay, I'm going to be really concise, really confident, so I'm going to say, yes, I think we should, period, right? That doesn't help anyone. No one knows what is the rationale, what got you to that answer, and it doesn't add real value. Whereas if you go the other extreme of saying, okay, we did this, and then we did this, and then we did this, and here, these more things happen, and then something else happened. Anyway, so in the end, we think maybe we should. That's also not a good response, because you lose them probably in the first few sections, and they'll say, hey, get to the point. The happy middle is in the what, why, and so what. What is your answer? with your bottom line upfront. So it could be, yes, I think we should greenlight the next phase, especially we should focus it around guided buying. Why? What made you think that? So it could be, I actually analyzed 10,000 of these transcripts and we found that a little less than 50%, these weren't support tickets. They were actually first-time buyers trying to compare our plans. And right now, we're not converting them because our bot is not trained on guided buying. It's not trained on marketing information. So if we do this, we can convert. I saw in a few instances, we did have the answer and we actually converted 3 times more than our average sales team. Then the so what? Give them, what does this mean? If we are able to capture on that 3 times better conversion, it could mean $900,000 of increased ARR. And this could be potentially huge and is a really scalable thing that we can test out immediately. I can prototype the new intent filter and report back when we have good data. Yes, this answer is not the shortest, but we're not trying to play word count. What we're trying to do is have every single one of our words work towards something, right? Work towards helping the other person understand the insight that only you have. Then walking them through the rationale of how is it that you thought through this and giving them the impact that it will bring, right? Everyone's talking about, so what's the impact? What's the impact? Well, you got the so what. So now they see $900,000 worth of ARR right there. Well, that makes the decision process a lot clearer. This also increases your chance of sharing something that they're looking for, right? Maybe they already knew about this insight, but they didn't actually connect it to the so what. Maybe they already thought that they would greenlight it for a different reason. Now they see, oh, there's actually something else we completely missed. In this way, you can also increase your chance of contributing the right things to help move the conversation forward. The third thing is to shift from you doing it right to the team doing the right thing. Since we talked about the what, why, and so what, a lot of people will tend to say, okay, I need to make this perfect, right? I need to nail every single thing so I can leave that impression and be the one who gives the wow, where everyone's like, wow, we never even thought of that. You're so smart. And the thing with these conversations is because there's information asymmetry, the execs know a lot more. Even though you did everything perfectly, doesn't mean your ideas will always be accepted. For example, in this case, let's say, it sounds like a no-brainer that we would go ahead and do this guided buying thing. But if the execs know, actually in 6 weeks, we are going to completely sunset this comparison thing and we are going to bring in a new usage-based model and legal said, do not share this with anyone, then they're not going to greenlight your idea, even though it makes perfect sense. So in that moment, when you are too focused on, well, how come you're not taking my wonderful idea that obviously will work? Instead of focusing on that, have that be okay, so as a team, it seems like we're moving in a different direction. Let me understand why that is. So where is it that we want to go? And instead of feeling so defeated or pouting about, well, that doesn't make sense, it's a better response to ask, can I ask a few follow-up questions? What makes us move away from the guided buying? Is there something that I haven't thought of, right? And they could be saying, well, we actually just have to put it on hold. We can't do this for a few reasons that I can't explain here, but we'll revisit them in Q4. Perfect, right? Then you say, okay, when it's time, please let me know how I can help. Awesome, right? Then we don't have to go into the spiral of despair. How come no one's listening to my beautiful ideas? The second thing is also to have the curiosity of seeing what else can I work on. This is also an opportunity to be proactive. Seems like the insight is interesting, but we're holding it off. So in the meantime, I can do other analyses as well. I have a few ideas. I think we can look at brand loyalty through using the chatbots and also capture potential new feature ideas based on the questions. Were there any other areas that you want to prioritize? And this way it becomes very collaborative and you get a straight insight into what is it that the exec teams care about. Also demonstrating proactiveness and not wasting your efforts in your proactiveness, right? Maybe they think that, okay, brand loyalty, actually we have some other plans for it. We want you to focus on new features specifically. Okay, great. Right now you are not doing work just for the sake of it. You are working towards a direction that the company prioritizes. But if our ego is in the way, we can never get there, right? We'd be too scared to ask those questions or too proud to ask those questions. So seeing the process as doing the right thing as a team, being more collaborative, is a perfect way for you to speak at their level, not as proud or arrogant person, but as someone who genuinely cares about the direction of the project. And that brings me to the fourth thing, which is, you're not always going to have those executive meetings, but in the meantime, it doesn't mean, okay, well, the things are off the table, I'm just with my team, I can relax now. In order to prepare for those moments, you want to start building your thought leadership earlier on. Make it a habit of articulating what is it that you know, what is it that you're learning. A thought leader is simply someone who is known for knowing something. Just think about in your team. There's one person who knows about the latest AI technology, so you just go to them if you have a question about that. Maybe other team members know as well, but since they haven't made it known to others, you don't ask them, right? Even though they might have even a better understanding, maybe they have a better solution, but because it's not visible, people don't go to them for those questions. So start articulating what is it that you're learning, what is it that you're finding to your peers, to your managers, to other people in different departments, so that they know who to ask when they have a question that's related to your work. If I ask you right now, what did you learn in the past 3 years about your field? Most people will start with and there is nothing that comes to mind. It's not that you don't know anything, you know a lot, right? You've done a lot in the past 3 years. It's like in a job interview, they ask you, tell me about this one time where you led a team. You have so many experiences, but in the moment, nothing comes because you never took the time to process all the experiences, distill what is it that you learned, what are some of the highlights, what are some of the takeaways that you had. And this is why people ramble, right? Because no time was put into distilling the everyday and practicing the habit of articulating your thoughts, building that thought leadership. And if you want to start now, the perfect place is the what, why, so what. Start putting your experiences through this filter so that you can start to see, okay, this is what's happening right now. This is the insight. This is the answer that I have, my point of view. This is why I believe in it. All of the quantitative, qualitative evidence that support it. And then here is the so what. Why does that matter? Why do I care about this? What will change in the world by doing this? So get started on that thought leadership habit if you haven't, and check out this video here where I talk about other frameworks you can use to articulate your thoughts. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.